Ever spend like ages trying to get a language model to do something really specific? And I'm talking oddly specific.
Hmm.
It used to be such a challenge. It was like you needed a secret code to unlock the AI's potential.
Right.
So today we're diving into the world of prompt engineering.
Okay.
We're going to explore if all that's changed now that GPT-4 is here.
Okay.
And our source for this deep dive is this fascinating GeekTac article.
Hmm.
It's called "Is Prompt Engineering Dead? How GPT-4 is Changing the Game."
Okay.
So we're going to unpack their arguments, look at the evidence, and figure out what it means for you.
Yeah.
So is this really the end of prompt engineering as we know it?
It's a big question.
Let's find out.
It is a provocative question, and the article brings up some really compelling points. I think to fully grasp how big of a deal GPT-4 could be, we should probably start with what prompt engineering even is
Okay.
and why it's been so important for working with AI.
Yeah, for sure. So like in the simplest terms, prompt engineering is basically just giving an AI very specific instructions to get what you want out of it.
Right?
It's like imagine asking a friend to write a poem,
Okay.
but this friend takes everything you say super literally.
Yeah.
You can't just say write a poem.
Yeah.
You've got to be like, I want a sonnet about unrequited love, and it should make me feel melancholic but hopeful.
Right.
You have to get really specific.
You have to be so specific.
And the article goes into some of the more technical parts of this, like specifying detailed instructions and using something called XML tags. But don't worry, you don't need to be a programmer to understand this.
Right.
It's
Okay.
basically just a way of highlighting the important parts of your instructions.
Yeah.
So the AI knows what to focus on.
It's giving it those landmarks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even then, it takes a lot of trial and error.
Absolutely.
You're tweaking the wording,
Yeah.
adding details until you finally hit that sweet spot where the AI understands you.
Yeah, it's a process.
And it can be kind of frustrating.
It can be.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much trial and error. And I think that's where the potential of GPT-4 comes in, because the article kind of makes it seem like GPT-4 might just wipe all that away. Like, we won't need to do that so much anymore. Like, it might reduce the need for this super meticulous prompting.
So less time wrestling with the AI, more time actually using what it creates.
Yes,
That sounds pretty good to me.
it's promising for sure.
But how does it do that? What makes GPT-4 so different?
Well, the article talks about this big leap forward in GPT-4's natural language processing.
Okay.
Basically, it means it's gotten even better at understanding us humans.
So we can just ditch all the technical jargon and just talk to it like a regular AI-powered friend.
Well, maybe not like a friend exactly, but
Right.
definitely more conversationally.
Right.
Like, you won't need to be so specific with it, using all those cryptic XML tags.
Yeah. That's a relief, because I was starting to get a little XML tag anxiety.
Sure.
But the article mentions another big thing too, right? Something about GPT-4 being better at reasoning.
Yeah, absolutely. They really dug into this idea of GPT-4 having this more sophisticated, like step-by-step reasoning.
Right.
It's like you can give it a really complex instruction and it can actually follow your train of thought,
Okay.
even if it's got like multiple steps or layers of logic to it.
Okay. That's pretty impressive, but I'm still kind of a seeing is believing kind of person.
Sure.
Does the article give any like solid examples of how this actually works in the real world?
It does. There's a really good example. It compares a traditional prompt to a GPT-4 prompt. And the traditional prompt is really long and detailed. And then the GPT-4 one is like super short.
Okay.
And the task is to analyze data and then present the findings in a compelling way.
Okay. So what's the difference? Like walk me through it.
Okay. So the old prompt, you have to lay out every single step that the AI needs to take.
Okay.
It's almost like you're writing like a mini program.
Wow.
But the GPT-4 prompt just says, analyze this data and tell me what's interesting.
That's it. That's literally all it says.
And it works.
Wow.
That's the thing. It actually works because it can understand what you mean now.
Yeah.
It can reason through it.
Right.
So it doesn't need to be spoon-fed every little detail.
That's a game changer for anyone who's like, working with AI. Think of all the time you'd save,
Right.
all the frustration you'd avoid. But okay, so let's talk about why this matters for like our listeners.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to talk about AI in this abstract way,
Right.
but how does this actually apply to the real world?
Okay, so let's say you're a writer, right? And you're working on a blog post or even a book. With GPT-4, you might just be able to give it a really basic outline, like just the core concept, and it can generate a first draft for you.
No more staring at a blank page.
Right.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
There's so many writers I know.
Exactly, yeah. And it's not just writing. Think about software development.
Right.
You could potentially describe a coding problem that you're having,
Okay.
and it could give you code snippets
Wow.
or troubleshooting help. You wouldn't need to be like a coding genius yourself.
It's like having an AI assistant who just like gets you
Yes,
and speaks your language, literally.
exactly.
And this could be huge for businesses, right?
Yeah.
For people who don't have those technical skills. I know the article even mentioned data analysis, right?
Yes.
It's like it's painting this picture of a future
Yeah.
where anyone could potentially just look at data and be like,
And understand it.
this is what this means.
Yeah, without needing a degree in data science.
Exactly.
It's pretty amazing. The potential here is huge. It's really exciting. But I think it's important to point out that the article doesn't actually say that prompt engineering is completely dead.
Okay.
Like, there's some nuances there, and
Well,
they're worth talking about.
so it's not like prompt engineering is going extinct.
Yeah.
It's more like it's evolving.
Yes, exactly.
Like we don't all need to be expert navigators now that we have like GPS, right?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. It's like the article saying GPT-4 makes it way easier for anyone to use AI, but there are still going to be times where knowing the ins and outs of prompting is going to help you out.
Okay.
Like, you can put together, some IKEA furniture with those picture instructions, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to build a really nice desk, you got to know some carpentry.
Okay. So it's for people who really want to like push the limits,
Yeah.
right, of what AI can do. They might still want to get good at prompting.
Yeah. For those really specialized tasks or when you need like pinpoint accuracy,
Right.
knowing how to write the best prompts is going to be super valuable.
Okay.
The article even says that in some fields, being good at prompting could give you an edge over everyone else.
Oh, interesting. So for our listeners who are like really excited about all this, but maybe a little unsure about how to get ready for like this new AI world, what advice from the article really stuck with you?
They kept saying, focus on the bigger picture. Don't get lost in all the tech stuff. Think about how these AI tools can help you reach your goals.
Right.
What problems can they solve for you? What can they make easier?
Yeah. It's like thinking about AI more strategically.
Exactly.
Like it's this powerful tool you have.
It's a tool in your toolbox.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing they said was, don't be afraid to just play around with these tools.
Yeah.
Test them out. See what they can do. The more you do that, the more you'll understand them.
That's like anything, right?
Yeah,
Like the more you explore, the more comfortable you get.
totally. It's all about being curious and seeing where these new technologies can take us.
Well said. It really does feel like we're at this like turning point with AI.
Yeah.
It's not just for tech people anymore, it's for everyone. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm just left with this feeling of like, what's next? The possibilities seem endless, and by understanding and using these new AI tools like GPT-4, we can all be part of this future.